Hello and welcome. I'm Paul Page. It's been one terrific year in the International Race of Champions. The first two races have both been barn burners, and we expect the same here today. Now, as we take a look at the points as they currently stand, it's today that we'll crown the champion of the IROC. And you can see that mathematically, any one of the top 7 in this list has a chance to win here at Michigan International. This is the way the points are actually distributed, plus bonus points for leading the most, second most, and third most laps. So it will be a very tactical run here today. Money? Well, $175,000 goes to the winner, a total purse of over $608,000. Let's take a look at the starting field. There's the front row, road racer Martin Brundle and IndyCar driver Unser Jr. In the second row, Dale Earnhardt here on the near side. Mark Martin to the outside, both stock car drivers from NASCAR. In the third row, the red car is Emerson Fittipaldi, the bright blue machines. NASCAR driver Terry Labonte. Moving back in the field now. That's Rusty Wallace on the inside of the fourth row. NASCAR driver, and Jeff Brabham, the IMSA champion, on the outside. And moving up in the orange car, actually in row 5, is Bobby Rahal. And Dorsey Schroeder is in that rose-colored car, the Trans Am champion. And alone in the last row, IndyCar champion Danny Sullivan. He will start in the pink car. So 11 cars are set and ready to go. This is the view backwards from the rear bumper of Martin Brundle's car sitting on the pole. That's Dale Earnhardt. Now you're on board with Earnhardt as he looks from his position inside the second row. Brundle just ahead, Unser Jr. from the Indy cars out to the right, just in front of him. They work off of turn 4. Martin Brundle keeps the pace way down. The pace car has already come down most of the pit road, but Brundle holding that pace down, keeping the car in second gear, Bobby Unser.
Yes, they certainly are. The start is coming down nice and even, Paul. It looks like Brundle still got a little jump on him.
And the green flag comes out as Martin Brundle down on the inside. Unser Jr. to the high side. And look at Earnhardt as he comes down way, way low. Mark Martin jumps into 4th place. Rusty Wallace into 5th. Now Unser and Earnhardt split. They come around Brundle. And Earnhardt takes the lead. Unser Jr. fights with Martin Brundle right now. They come to the backstretch. Brundle on the inside alongside Unser Jr. Wallace and Mark Martin battle as well.
That was a good start for Brundle. Road racer, I think he did excellent, but it just shows you the oval track experience still prevails, Paul.
What Brundle needs now is a drafting partner. At Talladega, he found that in Darrell Waltrip, and that led to his success. Waltrip, injured at Daytona, is not in this race. He's got to look for someone else he can hook up with.
Up on the high side, it is Mark Martin as Brundle tucks his nose right in behind Unser Jr. So for the moment, at least, he has a partner. At the same time, Mark Martin picks up Terry Labonte. Now Brundle drops backwards.
Brundle's got courage, Paul. After all, that's what he said in the interview with Jack just before the race started. He hasn't driven this car for a long time, and yet he was willing to go flat out and right behind another car right off the bat.
Martin Brundle being challenged for 4th now. Let's go to the pits and get an update from Jackaroo.
Paul, as we watch the run of Martin Brundle, he's not at all intimidated by getting into a draft with any of these drivers. In fact, the stock car drivers have nicknamed him Billy Bob Brundle because he seems so unintimidated by the draft.
Brundle sits up high as Mark Martin works down low on the race course behind Unser Jr.
Remember another thing now. The track is nice and cool today. The weather is overcast. There's been no sun beating on the track. The tires are going to last better, but they will still be a big factor towards the end of the race.
Rusty Wallace comes inside of Terry Labonte as they're 3 abreast. That's Brundle to the high side. And Dorsey Schroeder moving up to join this fight as well. The first 3 string out. The battle is between Brundle and Wallace. You look from Brundle's car over to Rusty Wallace sitting up alongside.
The comparative experience of Brundle and the men that he is surrounded by is like almost nothing compared to Vast, and you can see it's hurting him now. Brundle is moving backwards by degrees.
A 3 abreast battle going into turn 3 for 3rd place, but Brundle gets way too high in its skates.
And watch Labonte. Now, he's been just working that hard. Brundle is slowly going back, and you can just watch. Brundle just doesn't have the drafting figured out good enough today. So watch Terry Labonte in the bright blue car. He was last year's winner.
Labonte holding down position just ahead of Rusty Wallace. As we look from Martin Brundle, you can see the leader Earnhardt well up ahead. And then Unser Jr., then Mark Martin, then a bit of a spread as they come back to this group.
Now, Paul, this is the first time we've seen the Dodge IROC cars here in Michigan. We watched them at Talladega. They drafted a whole lot better. They worked really good in the air. We've got to watch today and watch the patterns of how the different drivers drafting. Like, watch Mark Martin. They're working on little Al. He tries him low, then high. He's trying to see if he can move the rear end of little car or little Al's car around.
And another thing about Mark Martin in the blue car, he would very much like someday, he is said, to get into Indianapolis car racing. So to be following Al Unser Jr., an Indy veteran and expert, he's probably got two things on his mind right now, Mark Martin. He's racing this race, and he's kind of trying to size up a man that he thinks he might race against in another form of racing someday.
Well, Mark Martin did have an opportunity to sit in one of the Indy cars, and he's just the right size. He fits right in, especially as the Indy cars are being made smaller and smaller each year. So at the front of the field, it is still Dale Earnhardt with Al Unser Jr. chasing, followed by Mark Martin and Terry Labonte. We'll be right back.
ESPN Classics 3 Days of 3 is
Place now. Now, the average speed of the race has been plenty hot, but in the past few laps, they've taken the average down a bit.
You watch the car as it works right there, Paul. Watch how it leans a little bit to the right. It'd be the left the way you look at it. It shows how they keep an equal leaning between the front and the rear. It's controlled by the sway bars on the car.
Now Mark Martin down inside Al Unser Jr. Very carefully inches his way past, and Mark Martin moves into second place. But he was very careful.
Do you see one of the main problems that Mark was a little bit worried about, and he was feeling out for a little while there, was because with Labonte back there, if he made a mistake, got out of the draft just for a second, Labonte would have been the guy that went through.
It has been Dale Earnhardt that has dominated the early going, and so those critical bonus points, 5 of them, go into Dale Earnhardt's pocket, and that is critically important here, Bobby Unser.
It's going to be critical now, and especially in view of the fact that he is leading the race, he is controlling it.
Right-hand corner of the screen, Bobby Unser, it looks like Martin Brundle got tapped a little.
Yes, he did, just a little bit. But you know what made that worse is little Al was on the outside. That's where the suction goes. That helped pull him out, and just getting touched a little bit normally might have not hurt him that bad, Paul, but it really jerked the car out from under him.
It's like
then
ice.
He got stuck in the mud.
It's like ice when you get off there on the mud. Here's on board with Brundle.
Brundle is very lucky that he doesn't hit the end of the pit wall. You'll see it go by there. That was quite close. He came within about 15 feet of it.
And he plowed up quite a bit of Roger Penske's beautiful green grass here at Michigan International. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Martin, first of all, you okay? Yeah, we're fine. What happened? I guess Rusty was trying to make a place, and he lost 2, and he wasn't too happy about it. So he tagged my rear end as I was coming past him, and you know, your history.
Yeah, we could see on the replay that there was a tap there. When you get upset in the car like that, you came spinning down through here, each and every one of the tires exploded. Have your hands full in the car?
I realized there was not too much I could do with it, but I thought I'll stick with this program because I could see the end of the pit wall coming up, and I've often heard the IndyCar boys say, hit anything except the end of the pit wall, so I didn't give up until it was stuck on the grass, but I guess it won't move because it's got no tires left.
Martin Brundle back under power, though. He will be down 1 lap as they come back to the green flag. If this yellow caution period has helped anyone, it's Al Unser Jr. because he's been able to close up once again with the leaders. They come to the green flag. Mark Martin is in second place behind Earnhardt. That's Labonte in the bright blue car, and Al Unser Jr. moving up into third place.
But he is going to need all the craft and wiliness he's got, will Al Unser Jr., because so far his car has not seemed to quite have the steam of the others.
You notice he went right down, almost clear to the white line there, Sam. That was trying to get a hold of a little bit of dry pavement where there's no rubber on it, so he could maybe not have to use the drafting so much.
So Al Unser Jr. drops from third back to fourth just in that 1 lap. As we take a look back again to the second place car of Mark Martin, looking from Dale Earnhardt's rear bumper. They work up very close to the wall on the high banks here at Michigan International Speedway. Down across the stripe at the tri-oval. And it is still Earnhardt out in front, followed by Mark Martin and Terry Labonte as Al Unser Jr. drops back.
19 laps to go, Paul. This should be a trophy dash. These guys are going to feel each other out just for a little bit, and then it's going to be a flat-out race. Mark Martin has been close on Earnhardt for a long time, but he really hasn't been able to make a pass yet. But he's got Labonte now. Going to force him to do something, so we'll see here.
Martin may seem like a relatively new name on the scene, but he first came into Winston Cup racing back in 1981. A raw rookie. It didn't work out for him. He had to go back into the minor leagues of racing, where he stayed for 3 years. When he came back for the second time a couple of years ago, he became a star almost overnight and has stayed right at the top of Winston Cup racing ever since.
Dale Earnhardt has dominated this run here with 32 laps complete. Mark Martin is challenging, but in the points, it is still a battle between Earnhardt and Al Unser Jr. Little Al runs in 4th place at this moment.
Then he needs to get out and pass those guys, Bob. And his car, like Sam said a little while ago, seems to be just lacking a little bit. Maybe the handling doesn't suit him just right.
Well, he needs some help at this point. We'll continue as Dale Earnhardt continues his lead.
Shave your beard.
Jr. continues to skate, running that higher line. It is Earnhardt still out in front. Mark Martin runs in 2nd place, and Al Unser Jr. is able to hang in there. Dorsey, Schroeder, and Rusty Wallace come up behind Jr., and you can see him waving to them behind him. Come on ahead. Give me a little help here. Well, now he's got a real veteran right behind him. He's got Rusty Wallace in there as they run 3 abreast into turn 3. Dorsey Schroeder comes down below Labonte. Now, will Al Unser Jr. lose a bit of draft? No, Labonte's going to come up there. That'll be a bit of help. Dorsey Schroeder is the odd man out.
Remember, cars side by side don't go as fast as they do in line. Labonte came out loose on that deal. Schroeder, who actually came out and stirred up that whole deal, it went clear to the last place in that little group, Paul.
So Al Unser Jr. moves into 3rd place now as he continues to try and challenge Dale Earnhardt at the front of this field. And if he does so, it is a battle for the championship. The corner stations here at Michigan International are now reporting a light sprinkle in some areas of the track, but we're still running under green flags.
It's not hurting the cars yet, but it shows you how important drafting and planning is. Labonte and Little Al had a good go there because Schroeder came up. Now there's Mark Martin going down. Little Al is going to try him on the high side. Now Little Al might have discovered that he's got a little bit of a groove up on the high side of the track.
Al Unser Jr. is definitely back in this fight as he runs in a close 3rd place behind Mark Martin, and Martin is parked right behind Dale Earnhardt. So we've got a great battle to go. 40 laps are complete.
10 laps to go, Paul, so they don't have much time left to make up their decisions of what they're going to do. If they've had any little tricks, if they've had any ideas all day, now's when it's going to have to come out.
You made the point that Earnhardt watches his mirrors throughout the race. So far, he has been seeing Al Unser Jr. drop back, his only real contender in the championship. This is the first point in the race where Al Unser has been moving up. So Dale Earnhardt has suddenly got to pay a lot more attention to the situation than he did.
Al Unser Jr. tries that higher groove, but Mark Martin comes up to cover it. Labonte has closed back in behind Unser Jr., and Mark Martin has decided it's time to go for the lead as he comes down below the line, and Earnhardt comes down with him to keep him back.
You can watch Earnhardt. He knew exactly where Martin was going to go, and he went clear.
And Al Unser Jr. moves aside Mark Martin and picks up 2nd place. So the battle for the lead is also the battle in points as Al Unser Jr. is tucked up right behind Dale Earnhardt now, and he's going to make a try for the lead. But Earnhardt, watching his mirrors more than out front, is very conscious that Little Al is there.
You can watch Earnhardt with Mark Martin go right down to the white line. Now let's see what he does with Little Al. Now, Little Al, you can watch him right there. He's feeling the high side. Of course,
there goes Mark Martin down on the inside. Labonte is there as well. The battle is back for 2nd place again. A little breathing room goes to Earnhardt as Mark Martin comes up to help his NASCAR buddy.
Now this is what IROC racing is all about. The last 10 laps, it had to happen. These guys are going for it now, and you're just seeing the best racing we could ever see.
We could not have asked for a better year in the International Race of Champions. The Dodge Daytonas have performed perfectly.
One thing Earnhardt has been able to accomplish, though, he's led a majority of the laps and will get those bonus points almost unquestionably. Little Al must beat Earnhardt outright if he's to have any chance in the championship.
Terry Labonte has moved around Mark Martin, picked up 3rd place now, and Labonte closes in behind Little Al. So it's Labonte and Al Unser Jr., and they're right there with Earnhardt.
Now, Little Al is kind of telling us that he needs to try the high side in order to pass Dale Earnhardt. At least that's what it's looking like. But now he's going to be a little bit afraid of it because Labonte is literally on his bumper.
We talked about how critical those bonus points would be. Earnhardt, one of those mentioning it. Well, even if Little Al gets around, then Earnhardt would still hold on to that championship as a result of bonus points. if he stays in second place.
Now we can see by that on-cam position there how high little Al was trying to go around the outside of Earnhardt.
And the car skates down the backstretch. Labonte closes in. Earnhardt still out in front. 43 laps are complete. Earnhardt tries the lower line. Al Unser Jr. runs up high. And Labonte comes up alongside Little Al, picks up second place. Mark Martin comes in to challenge. Little Al pushes him down. And Mark Martin comes around in third. Now Rusty Wallace comes by. And Dorsey comes up to try and help Little Al. But with a bad move there, Little Al has moved well back in the field. Earnhardt still unchallenged at the front.
Well, Paul, that's IROC racing. You either have to make an attempt or you're not going to get any place. Now, everybody's had to make an attempt. Some of them come up, some of them gone back. But the only guy that hasn't had to is, of course, the guy that's leading it, Dale Earnhardt.
I think that's one of the reasons that not only the fans, but the drivers admire Al Unser Jr. because no matter where he's sitting, he's always in there and fighting. Earnhardt is at the front. Then Labonte, Mark Martin, Al Unser Jr., and Dorsey Schroeder in the International Race of Champions. Third place.
Now that would mean his car's pushing. It's been probably pushing on him all day, which kills the horsepower and kills a lot of the abilities to draft, Paul. But now is he going to have enough time left in, say, 4 laps to get around? There he goes around the outside again.
Dorsey Schroeder at the same time continues to challenge Mark Martin. Schroeder with a nice run here at Michigan International Speedway. Now the interval closes down once again as Mark Martin comes in, helps Little Al, and Little Al sticks his nose right up close to the bumper of Kerry Labonte. Earnhardt still unchallenged at the front of this field.
One of the great pleasures of the IROC competition is to see a driver like Schroeder, who would not ordinarily have a chance to race men like these established champions, proving what he can do. Schroeder is going to emerge the big winner, really, out of all of them.
Al Unser Jr. comes around, picks up second place once again.
Back into second place. Back
Here
to
comes
fifth.
Mark Martin alongside Labonte.
Shows you how important the drafting is. This is flat-out racing now, Paul. It can't get much harder. Now, Little Al is going to make another attempt on the outside, which is his group today, on Dale Earnhardt. Now, let's watch this.
Martin and Labonte battle one another for third place as Dorsey Schroeder pulls it 3 wide and comes high, and then he tucks in behind Labonte. Your point's well taken, Sam. In fact, I asked Dorsey Schroeder when he sees guys like a Fittipaldi or an Earnhardt, how does he feel? He says, I think I appreciate it more because I've been around for 19 years. I've seen these guys race, and now the thought of racing with them is just a total thrill.
Earnhardt
Jr. tried to wave Labonte along to try to get him to close up.
As Earnhardt went down very far to the left suddenly, you can see the caginess. You can see trying to make moves that are unexpected on Al Unser Jr. We'll see if they work.
He is without doubt the best, Sam. Now, he'll wiggle all over that racetrack or move around and try to break a little bit of the draft the other guys might be getting.
Never be predictable in this game if you can help it.
As they come to the line, it's the white flag that flies. Just one more lap to go in the 1990 Dodge International Race of Champions. Al Unser Jr. comes down to challenge Terry Labonte for second place. Dale Earnhardt may be on his way to a wire-to-wire win here at Michigan International Speedway, and with it, the IROC Championship. He won his first race this season in the IROC Series after 20 starts. His 18th proved to be a victory. Earnhardt still out in front of this field. Al Unser Jr. fights with Mark Martin. The battle is at the front.
You can just see how close the Dodge Daytonas are. Everybody just keeps moving around. Everything is determined by the draft and how hard the guys plan ahead of them.
Coming to the finish, it's Earnhardt, followed by Labonte. The battle is for third as Dorsey Schroeder pushes his Roush teammate Mark Martin across in third as Al Unser Jr. swings down low, trying to get past, but they finish up with Dale Earnhardt as the winner in the Dodge International Race of Champions.
First one I've ever won. It feels great. It felt great to lead the whole race, and I knew we got to halfway, and we had the most bonus points for leading the most laps, and we were just trying to hang on in our, try to win the race or run second. We just held on the whole day.